It's the Valley on ESPN. Tonight from the CFSB Center, one of the oldest rivalries in the state of Kentucky will renew for the first time in nearly 10 years as the Murray State Racers welcome the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Hello, everybody. Alongside my partner, Rob Cross, I'm Todd Hamilton. Well, all we got to say is Western Kentucky and Murray, throw out the records, throw out everything.
It's the first time since 2014, but I know these fans at Murray State University and the CFSB Center are excited to see this action tonight.
Well, it's great to get this rivalry back going, 10 years in the making, and tonight is the first of four. They're going to play against each other in the next 4 years.
Yes, sir.
Well, I tell you what, we got some outstanding players to watch in this ball game tonight. Rob, let's let you talk about those.
Our spotlight tonight, Todd, is on Rodney Howard. The 6'11 transfer from Georgia Tech had 11 points and 7 rebounds against the big front line of Wichita State. Howard will have a huge size advantage tonight. The Hilltoppers will look to isolate him on the block so he can get into his array of post moves. Brian Moore Jr. averages 12.5 points and 7 assists per game for Murray State. The 6'1 guard puts a lot of pressure on the rim with an elite first step. His ability to handle Western's aggression at the point of attack will be critical for the Racers.
Let's look at the keys to tonight's game, brought to you by Hub Insurance.
Western needs to disrupt this potent Murray State offense. Coach Lutz's squad will look to apply extreme ball pressure and get out in the passing lanes. They've struggled shooting the basketball, Todd, so WKU needs to dominate the paint. Whether it's in transition, driving the ball, utilizing their big post presence, or being relentless on the offensive glass, the Hilltoppers must own the paint tonight. For Murray State, they have to be strong with the ball and run their stuff. Ball reversal will open up driving lanes and set up backdoor cuts to burn that aggressive defense. Paint protection is paramount, and the Racers need to be alert and help defense stay between the ball and the basket. Controlling their defensive glass is paramount if they want to win the game tonight.
Well, the men wearing the whistles tonight, Gary Maxwell is the lead referee. His umpire mates that are joining him are Craig Murley and John St. Clair, and let the 152nd all-time meeting between Western Kentucky and Murray State get underway here in the bank at the CFSB Center. The Toppers control the tip, and here we go.
Look for them to run some kind of post-ISO action right off the bat to try to get the ball to Howard.
And on that left wing, Colombe has it. Up top now to Howard. Colombe down on the block, working against Walker. Newman for three. Rebound Howard, and Western gets the first
and that's
lead.
the size advantage coming into play right there, Todd, as Howard gets to the offensive glass early. Murray State's got to make sure they get low, get into his legs, and block him out.
One thing Western Kentucky will do is play defense, and we're anxious to see how well they play defensively.
Yeah, you see that hard hedge right there by Howard, stretches out Murray State's offense. Western has them already pushed back, running their offense at half court practically.
Up top, Ellington with 10 to shoot. Brian Moore Jr. Walker with 6 to shoot. Ellington, turnarounder, won't go. Hilltoppers rebound. Colombe comes out with it. Up floor now to McHenry.
And the Hilltoppers will push the ball every chance they get. Make or miss, they're coming at you. McHenry has great speed. When Lander comes off the bench, he has great speed as well.
And let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's game. First of all, there are the Murray starters: Perry, Moore, Ellington, Wood, and Walker. And we get our first foul of the game to Murray State. And it will go to Jacoby Wood, his first and the first team foul to the Racers.
Coach Lutz ran an isolation set right there, put Jacoby Wood on an island trying to guard the Purdue transfer, Newman. It's a rip and go, and Jacoby Wood got caught with his hands out.
And Western Kentucky's lineup now that we'll see for you. And there's their starters: Howard, McHenry, Newman, Colombe, and Marshall.
Good defense by Brian Moore Jr. getting after McHenry.
McHenry drives the lane with 3 to shoot.
Nice finish. Good athletic ability. You saw he put the ball back in his left hand. Finger roll over the rim.
Well, for a team that's struggling shooting three-pointers, Western shooting 40% from the floor and lead 4-0 here at the start of this game.
That ball's got to get moving. It's got to reverse and try to dribble too much against one of these Western players. They're going to be in trouble.
Ellington can't get the shot to drop, and the Hilltoppers out with a rebound again. Lob for Howard, deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with Western Kentucky.
And you see at his size, Howard runs the floor extremely well. All of the Western Kentucky post players, when they come in, they're going to fly up and down the court tonight.
Howard, a 6'11", fifth-year senior, transfer from Georgia Tech. There are a lot of newcomers on this club, 8 as a matter of fact. Toppers with a fresh 20. Marshall for 3. Rims out. Rebound, Wood of Murray State. Racers pushing ahead. Walker short. Western Kentucky out with a rebound again. It's been one and done pretty much every time down the floor for the Racers here in the early going. We move down to the 18-minute mark. Inside turnarounder is up and in, and that for McHenry is his 4th point. He comes in averaging 10.
Yeah, just a good individual play from the junior college All-American.
Indian Hills Community College is where he transferred from. He's out of Milwaukee. Toppers lead 6-0 early. Inside Ellington, check out, 3, left corner. Walker can't get it to drop. The Racers now 0 for 4 from the floor.
But that's good execution, Todd. Murray State got a wide open corner 3. They'll take that anytime from Sean Walker Jr.
Colombe misses inside. Racers rebound, and here comes Rob Perry. In the lane.
Nice find in transition. Nice find in transition by Perry to hit Jacoby Wood.
Wood now needs 91 points for 1,000 in his career. Racers finally on the board at the 16:38 mark. Newman out top for Western Kentucky. Driving into the lane, may have gotten away with the travel there. At least Steve Crum thinks so. Howard inside, though, gets the turnaround for his 4th point.
Yeah, fortunate for Western that it wasn't called for a travel. Then they find Howard in the middle. Quick turnaround jump hook.
Howard coming in after 11 points, 7 rebound performance against Wichita State. Here's Moore. Wood out top. Perry for a triple. Yes.
Big time knockdown by Rob Perry. All began with the penetration of Brian Moore Jr., Todd. He can put a lot of pressure on this Western Kentucky defense.
8-5, Western Kentucky leads, and Howard is called for an offensive foul. That's his first, and the Hilltoppers first. And we come to our first timeout with 15:51 to play in the first half. It's been Western Kentucky but the Racers have clawed back to within 3 at 8-5. You're watching the Valley on ESPN. Western Kentucky has a 3-point lead at 8-5 early in the first half, and let's take a look at the series history for tonight's matchup. Brought to you by Visit Murray, Feels Like Home. 152nd all-time meeting, the first since 2014, when Murray State won 93-81. The Racers have won 4 of the last 5 meetings.
Yeah, and that last meeting in this building, TJ Sapp went for 19 points. He's the Murray State Director of Player Development today, sitting on the bench at Murray State. Jarvis Williams had a big double-double in that game, and Campaign had 24 points as well, a future lottery pick for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And Steve Prohm was the head coach at that time, too. And we're off and running with the Racers again, but Murray State turns it over. Western Kentucky has the break 3-on-1, and they get the easy bucket.
Yeah, if you're Murray State, you cannot afford live ball turnovers against this team. Every live ball turnover will be an easy play in transition for Western Kentucky.
That was Brandon Newman on that last bucket for the Toppers. Perry
nice set coming out of the timeout. Nice set, good cut, good find by Perry.
Sean Walker Jr. brought the Racers back to within 3, but there's McHenry on the left baseline for his 6th point.
They just put so much pressure on your defense as they push the ball. You have to sprint ahead, get inside, build your defense from the paint out against this team quickly.
Whistle out top and a foul to Western Kentucky. This one will go to McHenry. It will be his first and the second team foul charge to the Hilltoppers of Coach Steve Lutz. Lineup changes coming for Murray State. Sam Murray II coming in. And for Western Kentucky, Christian Lander, transfer from Indiana out of Evansville, the 6'3 senior, averaging 9.5 points a game.
Yeah, and Lander was a top 30 recruit in the nation coming out of high school.
Here's Wood driving right, goes baseline and scores.
Good drive by Jacoby Wood. If somebody gets up on you aggressively like that, that's the only antidote. The antidote is to push the ball, get your shoulder past their hip, and head toward the rim.
12-9, Hilltoppers lead. Newman misses the long three, and Justin Morgan, who checked in out of the timeout, out with a rebound, the sophomore out of Memphis. Wood, Morgan, nice feed. Walker trying to go cross floor to Ellington, but the Hilltoppers front it and come up with the turnover.
One pass too many right there, Todd. Would like to have seen Walker elevate to score that.
Inside, here's a drive to the basket, and it's good for Western Kentucky.
Babacar Faye checked in from the Senegal, was an NBA Academy Africa. Great athlete, will really attack the offensive glass.
He's a young man who transferred from the College of Charleston. 14-9 in favor of Western Kentucky. Perry loses the ball out top. Hilltoppers have got it again, and they're out and running. Out top, Lander. Around the left, three is away, and count that one, and that's a big bucket for Newman, his fifth point.
Yeah, you saw Murray State did a better job getting back in transition that time after the turnover. Western Kentucky patient with their offense, reversed the basketball, got a good three from a guy who hasn't shot it well this year, but is very capable, a part-time starter at Purdue last year.
Murray State with the ball, Perry with 10 to shoot, goes down the lane. That was close to goaltending. Hilltoppers came out with it, and Morgan stole it and missed a wide open shot. Colombe out with a rebound. Left side. Might have been a travel there. This time the travel will be called on Faye, and the Racers get it back.
Yeah, I would like to see that block on the Murray State offensive end again. Definitely goaltending. There's no question about it. The referees missed that one. Those things happen during the game. But if you're Justin Morgan on that foul, you've got to focus and make that layup.
Hilltoppers get Dante Allen, the redshirt senior from Falmouth, who played at Kentucky, and Jack Edlin, a freshman out of Louisville Male High School, played for Tim Hayworth up there, the former Murray State racer. Whistle and a foul on the Hilltoppers.
And Allen is a streaky shooter, but is a phenomenal shooter when he's on. You're talking about one of the best high school players in the history of the state of Kentucky. Matter of fact, Western Kentucky has two guys on this team, Todd, that are two of 8 players in the history of Kentucky high school basketball with over 3,000 points and 1,000 rebounds, and Dante Allen is one of them.
Inside, ball lost on the floor. Here comes Western Kentucky on the run. Allen down the lane, blocked and taken out for a moment by Murray State. Then Western Kentucky comes up with a steal.
And I will say this, Todd, the referees are letting these guys play basketball. It's very physical.
Inside, Faye had it knocked away by Murray. Got it back, fakes and spins and scores. Faye with his fourth point, and now Steve Prohm wants a timeout.
Yeah, that's a good timeout by Coach Prohm from Murray State.
As the Hilltoppers have gone up 19-9 against the Murray State Racers. And this will be a 30-second timeout.
These referees, Todd, are letting these guys play. If this game is played this physical for the entire 40 minutes, it certainly plays into Western Kentucky's favor. The longer, more athletic team, and to this point, much more aggressive team.
As you look at the last basket again by Faye, tell you what, they are just watching them. You talk about the length. They are long, going up and down the floor from the top of the key all the way down to the block.
They are long and athletic and play with pace. They play with great pace. Everybody that comes in the game sprints the floor, and that's what you want out of your team, especially early in the season. They've struggled shooting the ball from the perimeter, but Coach Lutz has a lot to work with how his team has played so far this season.
Hilltoppers on a 7-0 run the last 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Murray State's turned it over 3 times in nearly the last 3 minutes and are on a scoring drought of almost 3 minutes. 12:35 and a half. Western Kentucky with the biggest lead of the game at 10 points. Edlin will pick up in the backcourt against Wood.
And although he's a freshman, Edlin is a pesky defender. He's learning that art. Got a ways to go, but just a freshman. You see him getting after the ball, and that's a turnover forced by Edlin right there. Just ball pressure on Morgan. Morgan rushes the pass, throws it out of bounds.
Murray State's 5th turnover of the game. We saw Quincy Anderson in the picture a moment ago. He's now into the ball game for Murray State. Hilltoppers 19, Racers 9 at the 12:15 mark of the first half from the CFSB Center in Murray. Edlin in the lane. Here's a drive to the basket. Shot won't go for Colombe. Rebound out to Murray State's Jacoby Wood. Right corner, Walker. No. Racers crash the board. Ellington works inside and gets his first bucket.
Big time work by Nick Ellington in there on the offensive glass.
19-11. Here's Eadlin down the lane, missing the shot. Hilltoppers keep it alive, though.
But you see that pressure Eadlin put on the defense.
Allen for three.
And he's dangerous. If he strokes it, he's dangerous. That guy can heat up in a hurry. For him to see his first one go down, that could be a dangerous thing for Murray State's players.
And looking at the stats, that's his first three-pointer made of the season, Dante Allen. Brian Moore Jr. for Murray State at 11:20 to play. Takes it right behind him. Anderson three. Got it.
Nice answer. Nice answer against the contest by Quincy Anderson from Murray State right there.
Second three-pointer of the game for the Racers. Now we get a whistle at the other end of the foul on Murray State. And we have timeout coming with 11:08 to play in the first half. It's in all Western Kentucky. The Tigers lead the Racers at Murray State 22-14 as you watch the Valley on ESPN.
This presentation of the Valley on ESPN is presented by State Farm. Have questions about your insurance? State Farm is there for your what-ifs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com to get a quote today.
One of the memorable games between Western Kentucky and Murray State was the last time these teams played here in the CFSB Center back in 2014 on December 6th. It was a great night for Cameron Payne and Jarvis Williams, who each had 24 points. Williams 12 rebounds, and Payne dished out 7 assists in that contest.
Yeah, there you see Murray State's Director of Player Development, TJ Sapp, knocking down the big three. And with the alley-oop dunk from Campaign to Jarvis Williams. That was certainly an exciting game and an exciting time to be a Racer fan.
Well, here right now, though, it's not exciting if you're a Racer fan, as Murray State is down 22-14 to Western Kentucky. Murray State 6 of 13 from the field here, or make that 8 of 13 from the field here early. Western Kentucky, though, is 10 out of 18.
Western getting out in transition, and they're 2 of 5 from three-point range, which is already much more. And you see that easy baseline out-of-bounds play, just threw it over the top. Now, I know for a fact that Murray State covered that in their scout because I was at shoot-around today. Just a breakdown, mental breakdown coming out of the timeout. Nice lob over the top from Western Kentucky for the easy basket for Howard.
Hilltoppers are back up by 10 again at 24-14. Howard has 6 of the 24 for Western Kentucky as Anderson works outside high. Wood goes by Eadlin, up, can't get the shot to fall, but draws the foul. It will be the 4th team foul charged to the Hilltoppers.
And that was good action by Murray State. They really have to get the basketball reversed and do exactly that. Put the ball on the deck, attack the rim aggressively. Put the pressure on the defensive team. The defense, Western Kentucky's defense, they want to get out and pressure. Reverse that, put that back on them, attack the rim.
Racers 68% as a team at the free throw line, and Jacoby Wood at 66% on the season hits his first for his 5th point. 24-15 as that last foul for Western Kentucky went on Jack Eadlin, and Wood hits the second toss. He has 6 to lead Murray State. 24-16, 8-point lead. Eadlin has his pocket picked by Anderson. 1-on-2, and a foul to the Hilltoppers, Tyrone Marshall Jr.
Yeah, that's good aggressive defense by Quincy Anderson, forcing the turnover and then taking it into the contact, into the body of the shot blocker and getting to the free throw line.
Anderson is just a 40% free throw shooter on the year. 2 points, a rebound, and an assist the other night against Tennessee Tech in the win here.
Outstanding free throw shooter a year ago, small sample size this season, but he misses the first one there.
Racers are coming off a game where they shot 68% at the free throw line against Tennessee Tech after shooting almost 87% in the opener against Midway.
But Todd, on that play, if Anderson had gone up soft or tried to pull up, that's a block shot, and Western Kentucky's going the other way.
But Anderson makes the second free throw, and it's 24-17. Ooh, that should have been over and back. No call.
Murray State showing their 2-2-1 three-quarter court press after the made free throw. caused Western Kentucky some trouble right there, so expect to see that again.
Edlin to Marshall, left wing with 8 to shoot. Howard with 5 to shoot. Howard, oh, that's offensive foul, yes sir.
Yeah, just got frustrated with time running down, the ball's in his hands, and just got frustrated and stuck his arm out. Easy call for the referee out in the open, and that's Howard's second foul. That can be huge for Murray State's chances to get back in this game and stay attached throughout the rest of the first half.
Well, Fay is back into the game to replace Howard after that foul. Jacoby Wood with the ball out front. Western has 16 fouls now, by the way. Drive to the basket and count the hoop for Rob Perry, his fifth point.
There you go. Good aggressive play by Rob Perry attacking the rim. But against this Western Kentucky team, Todd, you don't have time to flex and do all those things on the baseline after you score because they're coming at you.
McHenry misses. Perry rebounds for the Racers. And then he can't get the shot to draw. Barely hit the side of the backboard. Hilltoppers are out running. Ball is kicked. And it will stay with Western Kentucky with 9:19 left in the half. Dante Allen will put it in, or actually it will be Tyron Marshall Jr. to put the ball in play, the transfer from Nashville senior out of Colby Community College. For the Hilltoppers, here comes Newman, the Purdue transfer in. He's out of Valparaiso, Indiana. Of course, we see Valpo in the Missouri Valley a little later in the season. 5-point Hilltopper lead as Western has the ball. McHenry holds the ball high. Pass deflected inside, taken out by the Racers. And here they come. Brian Moore Jr. fouled from behind by McHenry, and that will be his second foul.
Good look ahead. This Murray State team has the speed and athletic ability to turn the tables on Western Kentucky and attack in transition. See the big deflection right there by Jacoby Wood. Rob Perry looks ahead. Brian Moore Jr. doing exactly what Quincy Anderson did earlier, and Rob Perry on the last possession attacked the basket aggressively.
Brian Moore Jr. has not scored in this game. He'll try 2 free throws. Shooting 83% from the free throw line, had 15 points in Friday night's win over Tennessee Tech, and he gets the first one to fall.
And of course, he's an outstanding free throw shooter, as we saw last season. This could be big for him to get to the free throw line, knock down a couple of free throws. See the ball go in the basket, everything feels better for you.
Allen is out as Colombe back into the lineup now for Western. 24-20 in favor of the Hilltoppers. Brian Moore Jr. hits the second. It's 24-21. 9 and change left in the first half here. Crowd of about 5,500 to maybe 6,000 in the bank to watch this one tonight. Lander out top with the crowd, trying to urge the Racers on. Lander with 12 to shoot. In the lane, kick out Newman, fakes, now spots up for 3. Yes.
Just a big time shot by Brandon Newman. Shot fake, sidestep to the left, and to drain a 3 like that for a guy who hasn't been shooting it well so far in the season just shows you it's a veteran player. You're talking about a senior transfer from Purdue.
Newman now with 8 points in the game. Wood. Trapped at the top of the circle. 10 to shoot for the Racers now. Brian Moore Jr. executes, goes down low, trying to get it in there, and the ball turned over as Ellington couldn't get a handle on it. Here comes Western Kentucky. Ooh, that was close to traveling.
He slipped. He got rid of the ball, I think, before he shuffled his feet. But
inside,
big block by Nick Ellington.
By Ellington. Toppers have it with 12 to shoot, though. Outside. Here's Lander, whistle out front, and the foul to Murray State.
Yeah, good shot fake by Lander there. And you saw Walker Jr. came out, 2 hands on a ball carrier. Automatic call, easy for the referees as we head to the media timeout.
Walker's first foul and the 13th foul to Murray State. Western Kentucky into the 27-21, 7:49 to play. Let's pause a moment for the CFS Center and watch the Valley on ESPN. 27-21, Hilltoppers lead it over Murray State. Western Kentucky shooting 54.5% in this first half. That comes one game after shooting 29.5% for the game against Wichita State in their last outing.
Yeah, 3 of 6 from the three-point line tonight. 0 for 21 against Wichita State the other day. But like we talked about in the opening, they have guys capable of making shots. Brandon Newman was a very good shooter, great shooter in high school, very good at Purdue as a part-time starter for a team that spent most of last year as #1 team in the nation.
The last foul was on Sean Walker Jr. of Murray State, his first and the Racers' third. Hilltoppers will play it in with 20 on the shot clock.
And Murray State's doing a good job defending Western Kentucky's dribble handoff action, but they lose Colin Bay right there for an easy basket.
Colin Bay with his first points of the game. He comes in averaging 5 out of Quebec from Indian Hills Community College. 8-point Hilltopper lead. They've led by as many as 10. Ryan Moore Jr. tries a drive and a foul to the Hilltoppers.
And that's what we talked about in the opening with him, Todd. That guy has the ability to put it on the deck and get by any defender he faces. And he's the one guy on Murray State's team. As you see right there, he goes aggressively and gets fouled by Marshall. He's the one guy on Murray State's team, that has that inside him. He just attacks. He's in attack mode all the time.
Brian Moore Jr. back to the free throw line. Now hold the phone. Free throw will not count. He'll get a mulligan on that one, if you will, to borrow the golf term.
Don't want a mulligan when it goes in, Todd.
Oh, no, you don't. Well, he'll take it and get the free throw anyway. That's kind of like when you hit that first really good drive, as we see Eadlin come back in for the Hilltoppers. You don't want to take that mulligan unless you just think you can knock it out there a little further. But a lot of times, if you take the mulligan, the second one ends up being the bad one. Brian Moore Jr. has 4 points off from the free throw line for Murray State. 29-23, Western Kentucky. Hilltoppers with the ball. Eadlin across the line has it go off the foot of Jacoby Wood and out of bounds.
Yeah, and you see this little 2-2-1 that Murray State has thrown out has caused Western Kentucky some problems. Slowed their transition game down when the Racers are able to get into it, and Racers have gotten several deflections off of it.
Eadlin will handle for the Hilltoppers. Wearing a number by a guy who was a pretty good guard in the 80s by the name of Bobby Jones. He misses the three from outside. Murray State rebounds. Wood. Moore Jr. for a triple. Not this time. Perry battles. Rebound on the floor. Out of bounds to Western Kentucky. Racers trying to plead their case that it was off of a topper.
Well, Todd, I had a great angle at it, and I'm pretty sure you see Moore Jr. coming down, taking a good three in transition. But the ball clearly went off of Marshall's foot, as you saw on the replay.
Out of bounds it goes to the Hilltoppers. 29-23. Western Kentucky by 6. Out top, Marshall handles the ball. Into the paint he goes. He lost it on the floor, and it's taken out by Murray State. Wood up floor. Baseline right. Ryan Moore Jr. and a blocking foul on the Toppers. And this one will go to Colombe, his first. That's now 9 team fouls in the half to Western Kentucky. And guess who's back to the free throw line again?
And Murray State settled down the last 5 minutes of the game, 6 minutes of the game. They stopped turning the basketball over. Instead, they've been in attack mode. That's how they've got Western Kentucky in some foul trouble and earned trips to the free throw line.
Murray State, as a matter of fact, has not had a field goal in the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds. As Brian Moore Jr. from Harlem, New York, averaging 12.5 points a game, comes to the free throw line. Hits the first. And he'll get another. 29-24, Western Kentucky leads Murray State in the 152nd all-time meeting. Free throw's good again.
And you see, as Murray State's getting to the free throw line, they're getting a chance to set their 2-2-1 press.
Hilltoppers face it now as they come into the front court.
Good
Newman
job.
handles it.
Good job by the Hilltoppers, Todd, to center the basketball and then get into an offensive set.
Eadlin with 13 to shoot. Long skip pass across. Three's away from the right. It won't go for Marshall. Rebound out to Murray State. Perry from way out. Can't get it to drop. Ellington goes after the rebound. Off the Hilltoppers. It'll stay with Murray State.
Yeah, and that's one of those shots. Murray State will live with Marshall taking the three on the other end. But that long rebound's got to get you out in transition. And again, Murray State attacking the basket, gets to the free throw line, puts pressure on the Western Kentucky defense. When you stop and take a long contested three like that, unless you're on fire, it's not a good thing for your team.
Racers will put it in play. They get 20 on the shot clock. Wood to toss it in. Anderson, who's back into the game. Sean Walker Jr. can't get it to drop. Colombe out with a rebound for Western Kentucky. Now to Edlin.
Great execution on the baseline out of bounds set by Murray State. Shot just rattled out.
Dante Allen back into the Hilltopper lineup. Edlin on the right wing. Newman drives right into the paint. Foul to Murray State. Only the fourth foul charged to the Racers here in the first half. Anderson will draw his first personal.
Good drive by Newman to get to the free throw line. And you can see Babacar Faye is a raw post player. He's going to go to the offensive glass. He's going to get you points that way. He's going to block shots. Western's not running anything. Coach Lutz can't run anything right now to throw the ball inside with Howard on the bench in foul trouble.
Hilltoppers first trip to the free throw line, 71% collectively. Newman, 71.4%. Misses here. Newman with 2 3-pointers, 8 points in the first half. Had 14 against Kentucky Wesleyan and 6 points and 4 boards against Wichita State last week. And it's now 29, or make it 30 to 25 Hilltoppers. Brian Moore Jr. finds a seam, goes into the traffic and lost the ball. Hilltoppers running 3-on-1. That's goaltending. Colombe will get the bucket. That's his 4th point.
Coach Brome wants to know why that's goaltending, but the one earlier wasn't goaltending.
Yep. That was pretty close, to be honest.
Close. It might have touched the glass before he got to it, but Coach Brome's concerned about you let it go on one earlier. That was clear goaltending, and then you call that one.
Anderson for 3. Battles after his own rebound.
Good
picked up by the
Racers.
Ellington. And a foul as Sean Walker Jr. goes to the basket. That's now 10 fouls to the Hilltoppers. Murray State will shoot 2 for the rest of the half.
Yeah, nice action. A staggered double screen to free Quincy Anderson up for that 3. And then he missed it, and once he saw it coming off, he dove back in, deflected the ball to Ellington, who got it to Walker Jr. to earn his trip to the free throw line.
Colombe with his 2nd foul. Sean Walker Jr. 1 for 3 at the free throw line this season. Will try 2. Now 1 for 4. All right, Malik Abou-Gawad into the game now for Murray State. And for the Hilltoppers, Tyron Marshall Jr. returns.
Yeah, as Colombe goes to the bench with his 2nd foul, yet another Hilltopper in foul trouble. Walker Jr. rattles the foul home. Abou-Gawad can play his physical style. As long as the referees continue to let them play like this, Abou-Gawad could be a factor in this game, as he is a very physical post presence for Murray State.
And watch him on the matchup with Faye right now with 15 to shoot for the Hilltoppers. Newman got it. Newman has 11 in this first half. 34-26. Western Kentucky moves the lead back out to 8.
And Edlin doing a good job of denying Jacoby Wood the basketball in transition.
As you talked about, he's just a pesky guard out there. Really giving the Racers fits right now. Wood with 12 to shoot. Has had his dribble. Now gets a cutter down the lane. Brian Moore Jr.
Nice back cut. We talked they were going to try to burn the Western Kentucky pressure defense with back cuts, and that's the first really good back cut for a layup tonight.
Down the lane, here's Dante Allen with his 5th point of the night. Teams swapping baskets at 4:05 of the first half. 36-28, Western Kentucky in front.
Murray State needs to get the ball moving, Todd.
Here's Wood down the right side. He tries to move it and draws the foul and will shoot free throws.
You know, they're they're just dribbling the basketball in place too much. They've got to get the ball swinging from side to side and then look to attack or get those backdoor cuts to burn that aggressive defense.
Well, we're inside of 4 minutes, 3:49 to go. Murray State to shoot free throws when we come back. Down 36-28 to Western Kentucky as you watch the Valley on ESPN. With Rob Franz, Todd Hamilton back at the CFSB Center. Western Kentucky 36, Murray State 28. Racers shoot 40% thus far on 8 of 20. Western Kentucky 16 of 28, 57.1. Rebounding battle is pretty even. Hilltoppers lead that 13-11 and have one more offensive board at 5-4. But a big telling stat, points in the paint, 24 for Western Kentucky, 12 for the Racers.
Yeah, and we talked about it in the keys to the game. Western Kentucky wanted to dominate the paint in this game. Murray State had to protect the paint. Right now, that edge is going to Western Kentucky without question, and thus the 8-point lead. One thing that has happened positive for Murray State over the last several minutes. 3 Western Kentucky starters have 2 fouls and are on the bench, so they're getting to the free throw line. The other thing is, at one point in this game, Murray State had committed 5 turnovers to 0 for Western Kentucky, and now with 3:49 left in the half, Murray State has committed 7 turnovers to 6 for Western Kentucky. So the Racers have settled down, and then they've turned the pressure, turned the tables on the Western Kentucky offense.
Jacoby Wood misses the first of 2. The junior from Cleveland, Tennessee, who transferred in here a year ago from Belmont. The last foul for Western Kentucky, by the way, was on Jack Edlin, and that's his second foul of the first half. Wood makes 1 out of 2, and he has 7 in this first half, and it's a 36-29 Hilltopper lead. Edlin for Western turns it over. Anderson then tries to come up court, and he gets fouled.
Yeah, that's the 3rd foul on Edlin. Coach Lutz is leaving him in the game because, you know, he can afford to have Edlin in foul trouble in the second half. He cannot afford to have McHenry in foul trouble or Lander in foul trouble in the second half of this game, as long as the Racers can stay attached like they are right now.
I talked to a former Hilltopper coach who is here in attendance tonight, Jim Richards, before the game, and he talked about how well defensively Western Kentucky plays as Anderson hits the first. He says, you know, I've not seen a Hilltopper team play defense like that since the last team I coached in 1978.
They're impressive prepping for the game, watching them on video. Very impressive. They really get after you. Murray State has not seen this kind of defense so far this season. The talent level, the competition level has ratcheted up every game that Murray State has played. So the beginning of this game was probably a little bit of a shock, even though this is a veteran team.
36-31 as Anderson hits both free throws. Back the other way. The shot is missed by Newman, and the rebound comes out to Murray State.
Good show in transition defense by Abdelgawad right there to cause Newman to slow down and pull back so Walker Jr. can get back in and contest.
Here's Anderson, and Abdelgawad tries to get the rebound. He can't. Western Kentucky's out running with Allen, and he scores.
Way too easy. You see that? A missed layup on one end invariably leads to a missed layup, to a made layup on the other end.
7 for Allen as shot is blocked. Marshall gets the reject on Brian Moore Jr., and the ball comes back to Murray State again.
And Marshall was loading up, just waiting for that penetration. Initial penetration. If you're coming down in transition, you'll see the fast break by Dante Allen just pushes it himself. Nobody stops the ball, straight to the rim for an easy layup for the Hilltoppers.
Deacon Moore, freshman out of Dry Ridge at 6'5", into the Hilltopper lineup now with 3 minutes to go.
And Moore is a knockdown shooter. That's the other guy. This team has over 3,000 points and 1,000 rebounds in high school basketball in the state of Kentucky. One of only 8 players to do that.
Wood missed inside. Racers rebound with 9 to shoot, and they're good for a 3 out of the right corner.
Yeah, and that's got this crowd really excited here, Todd. Jacoby Wood knocks down the corner 3, and the Racers battling for the ball. And then they give up a 3 in the corner to Dante Allen, but he misses it short, and Quincy Anderson pushes it out.
And here comes Anderson down the lane. No, rebound, foul. Ellington went for the rebound and got fouled by Western Kentucky's Bay.
Yeah, great pressure put on that defense by Quincy Anderson in transition as we see Sean Walker Jr. dig the ball out, get it out in the corner to Jacoby Wood for the knockdown 3.
You talk about about a guy who's been silent in this game. Nick Ellington, only 2 points after double-doubles in his first 2 games.
Yeah, and he spent quite a bit of time on the bench. And the size and athletic ability of Western Kentucky, and they're making sure that Murray State doesn't hurt them with Nick Ellington. He's going against a different level player now. Tennessee Tech, you know, we had the Tennessee Tech game that Murray State with Murray State the other night. Tennessee Tech had David Craig at 7-2, but this is a different animal tonight with Babacar Faye and Rodney Howard.
They are much more aggressive than the young man was from Tech the other night. Hilltoppers turn it over. Here come the Racers. Walker behind him. Leaves it now with Perry with 2:10 to play. Moore skips it back out on the right. Perry fakes. Now gives it off to Brian Moore Jr. Won't go. Battle for it. Western Kentucky rebounds. It comes out to Marshall. Marshall to Newman. 1:50 left in the half. Moore out top. Whistle here. Traveling is the call. Murray State gets it.
Yeah, I don't think Babacar Faye realized what he had done. He looked over at his coach, and Steve Lutz just looked at him and nodded his head. Yeah, you did it. You had the ball on the ground and you stood up. That's a traveling violation every time.
Steve Lutz in his first year at Western Kentucky had been at Corpus Christi. Texas A&M Corpus Christi went 29-30 in 2 seasons there. He has a pretty good pedigree, though. He's been to Stephen F. Austin, SMU, along with Creighton and Purdue as an assistant. Inside, Walker gets his shot blocked. Ellington tried to get it, lost it. Scramble on the floor. Hilltoppers are out with it with 1:20 to play. There's Moore down the lane. He falls down. Allen for 3.
Yeah, that hurts if you're on the Murray State bench. A broken play, your guys are hustling. Deflections all over the floor by both teams. And then the ball gets tipped back to Dante Allen, coming down in a trail position at the top of the key for an easy 3-point shot.
Allen now with 10 points, 1 minute left in the half. Racers down 7. Perry can't get it to fall. Hilltoppers out with a rebound as Newman speaks with his coach Steve Lutz, and now they will take their 30-second timeout. You really don't want to leave those timeouts in your hip pocket, that's for sure.
No, this is use it or lose it timeout for Coach Lutz. He's going to set his team up what he wants this last 51 seconds. You have 51 seconds left in the half. Western Kentucky has a 7-point lead. Murray State is in a danger zone right now. They need to stay attached, keep this thing within a manageable number, within 10. If they can whittle into it, get it down 5, 4, 3 points, that's going to be, you have to feel great if you're on the Racer bench going into halftime if you keep this thing within this margin. Western Kentucky's going to look right here to get something going to the basket and probably try to find a hot Dante Allen. When that guy gets going, we've seen it throughout his career, both at the University of Kentucky and at Western Kentucky. When he gets going, it's a problem for the opposition.
Here's an interesting clip and save stat. If Murray State trails at the half, it would be the first time this year in over the last few seasons, 3 to be precise. They have 10 wins and 23 losses in that stretch. 51 seconds to go. 25 to shoot for the Hilltoppers as they put it in play. McHenry out front on the dribble handling.
And McHenry back in with 2 fouls to put pressure on the Murray State defense.
And McHenry comes right in and gets himself a bucket for his 8th point of the first half. 43-34.
And he's picking up full court. They need to go right at him right now. Try to pick up that 3rd foul. Lutz imploring him to get back and just stay between the ball and the basket. I'm sure he was told him during the timeout to make sure not to reach and commit that 3rd foul. You'd rather him give up a layup than commit a 3rd foul right before the end of the half.
Just a few tenths of a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Wood with 8 seconds. Jacoby behind him to Brian Moore Jr. Hill to go to the basket, blocked by Allen, loose in front of the Hilltopper bench, out of bounds to Western Kentucky with 2 seconds to play.
Yeah, and that's just the length of the Hilltoppers right there. Just the length of the Hilltoppers. Dante Allen at a legitimate 6'6" is back there to help on Brian Moore Jr., who's 6'1", his long arms, able to get the block shot. Nick Ellington hustling for the ball, but loses it out of bounds. Western Kentucky with 2 seconds left.
And they bring Edelin back in.
Yeah, they're gonna look to get it into Newman and let him go.
Here's Newman with it. Newman from near half court, and we've come to halftime. So the Racers, for the first time this year, find themselves down at the half, trailing Western Kentucky 43-34. A very strong first half for the Hilltoppers. We'll come back with more from the CFSB Center following this short break. You're watching The Valley on ESPN. Friends, it's time to take a look at the first half highlights. They're brought to you by West Wind Real Estate. And boy, did we have a lot of highlights.
A lot of action in that first half, Todd.
And here's Western Kentucky.
Babacar Faye, long and athletic, a little raw, but you see him going to work on the inside against the Racers.
Faye had 4 points in the first half for the Hilltoppers. And now here's Dante Allen hitting a three, and Allen had 10 points.
Yeah, Dante Allen 2 of 2 from the three-point line. Big for Western Kentucky in the first half.
And another long shot from the outside.
That man, Brandon Newman, Purdue transfer, doing work, leading scorer in the game right now with 11.
And here's Dante Allen again for a three from out top.
Yeah, and that was a big play for Western Kentucky. A broken play, a lot of tip balls. He comes down, knocks it down from the top of the key.
Well, let's look at some of the Murray State highlights now from the first half. And they had a few of those themselves.
No question. You see Jacoby Wood putting the shot fake, finds Rob Perry straight away for the three from the top of the key.
Perry had 5 points in the first half.
Steve Lutz from Western Kentucky imploring his team to push it in transition as Brian Moore Jr. penetrates, finds Quincy Anderson for another three. Again, Steve Lutz, you see in Western Kentucky, push the ball in transition. Jacoby Wood finds a back-cutting Brian Moore Jr. They put pressure on the Western Kentucky aggressive defense.
Moore had 8 points in that first half.
You see Ellington go into the offensive glass. Sean Walker Jr. digs out the loose ball, finds Jacoby Wood for a big corner three.
And Wood had 10 points to lead Murray State in the first half of play. So here at halftime, it's 43-34 in favor of Western Kentucky. We'll come back with the second half for you after a short break. You're watching The Valley on ESPN. Western Kentucky has the 43-34 lead as we get ready to start the second half. Chalk talk a little bit here, Rob Cross. What are you saying?
Well, a couple of things. Western Kentucky has two guys who played 6 minutes, under 6 minutes in the first half, that are big keys for their team. Don McHenry, the starting point guard, and Rodney Howard, our player to watch for the game. They're big post players. Just played a few minutes, so those guys are going to be fresh. You know, Steve Lutz is just telling his team, we've got to push the ball. We have to make sure that we clean up the glass on our defensive end. Murray State has 10 offensive rebounds, but Western Kentucky leads in second chance points 9-6. So that's a big thing. If Western can clean that up, if you're steam prone, you're telling your team, we've been successful when we've moved the ball, we've executed offense, and we've attacked the rim and got them in foul trouble.
And another big stat, Western Kentucky leads his points in the paint at 28-12.
Yeah, and that was one of the, was the most crucial thing in this game. And then Western Kentucky not only has dominated the paint, but they've also come out 4 of 8 from the three-point line. More judicial in their shot selection in this game than they were against Wichita a few nights ago.
Murray State has the ball as we start the second half, trailing 43-34.
There's a rip set for Brian Moore Jr. to try to attack. Western defended it very well.
Brian Moore Jr. feeds right corner, threes away. It won't go for Perry, and the Hilltoppers rebound. Western Kentucky on their first offensive set. Inside low, Howard can't get it to fall. Rebound out, Murray State saves it, and a good hustle by Rob Perry to keep it alive. Wood, left corner, Brian Moore Jr. shovels it away, and Ellington with the stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Penetrate, find your post player when their post player steps over to help for the easy dunk.
43-36. Hilltoppers up by 7 at the 19-10 mark. McHenry goes left, kick out. Now up top, Newman has the ball. Round into the right corner. Now a three going up by Howard, not this time.
You know, Todd, I said they were more judicial in their three-point shot selection, and McHenry took a bad one right there.
Here's a shot inside, block, and what do we got? A foul to Western Kentucky.
Got a foul on Columbay.
Columbay will get his third, and remember we talked about this just a couple of minutes ago in the halftime.
And you see this drive by Brian Moore Jr. finds Nick Ellington for the easy dunk. Maybe that'll get the big fella going.
Sean Walker, who had 3 points in the first half, will shoot a couple of free throws here. He was 1 for 2 at the line. Racers down 7 and stays that way.
And this is one of those games, Todd. It's going to be rough for Murray State. It's going to be tough to win if they leave points at the free throw line.
Sean Walker Jr. 1 out of 2.
You see Murray State with the made free throws able to get into their 2-2-1 press, which caused Western Kentucky trouble in the first half.
Hilltoppers bring it up, leading 43-37.
Now they're running their offense with 17, 18 seconds left on the shot clock.
McHenry, left wing now to Columbay. Inside, ball lost, picked up by Columbay inside, out to Marshall. 5 to shoot. Long three going up, and it won't go for Newman. Loose ball into the corner, out of bounds to Murray State.
Great defensive possession if you're Steve Crone watching his team right now. You're thinking, boy, that was a great defensive possession. We need to get that every time. The 2-2-1 press caused problems for Western Kentucky in the first half, and it delays them being able to run their offense. It takes them out of the pace they want to play, Todd.
Jacoby Wood will bring it up across the line for the Racers of Murray State. Last home game for a little while until they play their conference opener against Bradley. Ellington down the lane, lost control of the ball. Walker got it back, 10 to shoot. Wood from 3, yes.
Good find, good extra find by Walker Jr. finds Rob Perry. Rob Perry was open, had a good shot. He found Jacoby Wood at the top of the key for a great shot, and the Racers were back within
3. 43-40 Hilltoppers as Wood got his 10th point. 17:40 to play. Left side, Newman gets in the lane, forces a shot, but draws the foul.
Yeah, just a smart play right there by Newman. Gamble by Jacoby Wood. If you're going to gamble for that, you better make sure that you get it. Misses that. Puts pressure on the defense. Newman being smart, shot fake, gets into the body, earns himself a trip to the free throw line.
Nick Ellington called for the foul. That is his, I have it as second, but they only have it as his first on the scoreboard. Free throw is missed by Newman. He'll have one more. Newman had 10 points in the first half, including 2 3-pointers, and was 1 for 2 at the line. And for the Hilltoppers, here comes Christian Lander back into the lineup.
Yeah, and a transfer from Indiana, another speedy guard. So right now, with Columbay going out, you take out a bigger, more athletic guy, but you bring in even a little more speed in Christian Lander.
And friends, the healthcare option or the healthcare system can feel like a factor. Patients don't get enough attention and doctors can't give the kind of care they want to. And that's why Village Medical is here to change primary care. Book your first appointment at villagemedical.com/start now. Village Medical, the new way to well. Jacoby Wood as the free throws missed by the Hilltoppers. Racers are within 3. Brian Moore Jr. down the right has it stripped away out of bounds. It'll stay with Murray State with 9 on the shot clock.
Yeah, Western Kentucky doing a good job defensively. Murray State's trying to run a little ISO set that time when they came down to put Jacoby Wood in space on McHenry, who has 2 fouls to attack him, but Western did a good job defending it.
On the inbounds, Racers get it, and the 3 is no good from Perry, and Western Kentucky rebounds. Push up the floor, right side, McHenry working toward the baseline. Deals it out left wing, whistle, out of bounds. It'll go back to Murray State as Lander was on the sideline.
Yeah, that was a good execution on the last offensive possession for Murray State. Rob Perry is going to make those shots. It was a great shot selection by him, wide open look. Just got to knock those down.
Jacoby Wood ahead to Perry and back to Wood on the left wing. Cross floor pass to Sean Walker Jr. Out top, Wood. Bounces in on the block. Ellington, turnarounder, hangs on the rim, won't go. Western Kentucky clears the board. Newman has it. Hilltoppers pushing. Newman circles the wagons though. Lander left side tries to go into Howard and he lost the ball out of bounds. Murray State gets it.
Yeah, and you saw Murray State, Ellington fighting over, really was in a 3-quarter front position right there to deny. And Murray State had a weak side defender and help right behind him. Tough entry pass, tough catch for Howard.
Fay is back into the lineup now for the Hilltoppers, who lead by 3. They've led by as many as 10. Murray State has never led in this game as I recall. Perry. Now whistle away from the ball here. And a foul charged on Babacar Fay. That will be his second by my tally, and the second team foul to the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky.
Ellington was working hard to post up for Murray State.
Boy, he was.
Fay just got his leg into him and both hands. Easy call for the referee on the sideline.
You just saw a shot of Steve Prohm there a moment ago, pacing the Racer sideline. Inbounds comes into Ellington. Walker leaves it now with Brian Moore Jr. 12 to shoot. Moore down the lane, had the ball stripped away. Official needs a little help, and Gary Maxwell says ball stays with Murray State with 10 to shoot. Coach Prohm again getting his guys aligned on the baseline to throw it in.
A little staggered screen action right here to get the ball to Walker Jr. A 40% three-point shooter at Mercer. Knocks it down on the well-executed baseline out-of-bounds play for Coach Prohm's Murray State Racers.
43 all as Walker gets his 7th point of the game. 15:50 to go, and the crowd is into it now here at the bank. Blocked inside by Ellington on the shot by McHenry. Racers can take their first lead right here. Perry, right corner to Moore. Traveling is the call, and we come to a timeout. Well, Murray State has tied this thing at 43 all. 15:36 to go from the CFSB Center. Let's pause a moment as we watch Walker Jr. bury that shot to tie the game. We'll return as you watch the Valley on ESPN. The last time these teams played at EA Diddle Arena in Bowling Green was on December 1st of 2011. The Racers rolled into Bowling Green 7-0 along the line of that famous start where Murray State went 23-0 in winning 70-59 in Steve Prohm's rookie season as head coach. Racers got 18 points from Isaiah Cannon, 14 from Ivan Aska, and 10 from Dante Poole in that contest.
And they had a big effort from the Trez Moonshot off the bench in that game with 9 points and 5 rebounds, sparked them. And that team, obviously, as you talked about, Todd, went on to win 23 games in a row. The last undefeated team in the nation brought Dick Vitale on this ESPN Family and Networks to Murray, Kentucky.
I remember being here for that game with St. Mary's. Boy, it was a packed house that day. And, of course, Murray State was a 6th seed in the NCAA tournament that year up in Louisville. 43 all our score as Western Kentucky has the ball. McHenry working toward the baseline, and here's a bad pass out of bounds.
Yeah, and on that play as McHenry drives baseline, Marshall needs to sink down into the deep corner so he has an outlet to find somebody.
Murray State ball, a chance for the Racers to take their first lead of this game. 15-15 to play. Perry, midway right. Cross floor. Wood thought about the shot, but the Toppers get out defensively. Abdul-Gawad goes down the lane and scores.
Big finish by Abdul-Gawad for the Racers, Todd. And nice find by Jacoby Wood. What Steve Prohm did coming out of that timeout, because Western Kentucky hedges so hard, as you see the hedge right there by Fay, they step out so hard away from the basketball. Murray State invites that hedge. Nice little pocket pass by Jacoby Wood. Abdul-Gawad gains control of it after bobbling it, gets the ball to go in, and earns his trip to the free throw line for the three-point play.
And he makes it for his first free throw of the season. And he has 3 points now, a season high, and the Racers have their first lead at 46-43.
And this Western Kentucky offense has slowed down as the Racers get into their 2-2-1. And even when the Racers aren't in their 2-2-1, because the pace has changed, Western has not forced the issue.
Lander. Pitch and catch out top with Newman. Baseline drive, Marshall. 3 to shoot, 3 out of the right corner, and it's buried by Dante Allen.
Big answer by Dante Allen out of the corner.
13 for Allen, and we're tied again at 46. Jacoby Wood with 14:20 to play. Perry from 17.
And that's his game. That's his game. Nice mid-range. You got to feel good if you're on Murray State's bench to see a shot go down.
Racers back in front, 48-46. Whistle and a foul to Murray State on the baseline. Jacoby Wood will draw his second, and just the second foul of the half to the Racers. We see Justin Morgan waiting to come in for Murray State, and Colombe with 3 fouls is coming back for Western Kentucky.
Replay right there with Rob Perry. A nice little jab step, got Newman off balance to get to his spot for the knockdown 17-foot jump shot.
14:07 to go, 23 to shoot for Western Kentucky as Steve Lutz's club puts it in play. Right side, Lander, down the lane he drives, it spins all the way around the rim and pops out, and Morgan with a big rebound for Murray State. Wood quickly front court. Straight away, hangs too long. Rebound to Western Kentucky on the deep carom. Newman has it. Around the right side, here's a long 3, and that's good for Lander. That's his first bucket of the night.
Lander, big shot fake, sidestep to the right, knockdown shot.
Hilltoppers back in front, 49-48. Lander came into the game shooting 41% from the floor. Wood out top. Morgan inside, Abdul-Gawad misses, rebound, loose on the floor. Racers come out with it though. Good hustle by Morgan. Wood for 3. Short. Morgan goes in 1-on-4 and draws the foul on Western Kentucky.
And these Murray State fans are going crazy right now, Todd, because of the effort by Justin Morgan.
$14 foul to Western Kentucky, and the personal will go to Lander. I have that as his third.
And the last 2 ball screens that Murray State has said Western Kentucky adjusted, and they're not hedging out quite as far. Let's see if they stick with that.
Ball comes in to Murray State, and there's a 3 from Rob Perry.
They ruled that a 2, Todd. Shot fake stepped inside the 3-point line for the pull-up.
Nevertheless, the Racers have the 1-point lead at 50-49. Lander, Allen, up the baseline, got a whistle here, and out of bounds to Murray State.
Great job of cutting off the baseline by the Racer defense. That drive, they stepped all the way out of bounds to stop that drive.
Racers ball in a 1-point lead. Western Kentucky led us by as many as 10 in the first half. Murray State didn't take the lead until a couple of minutes ago, and their biggest lead has been 3. Wood out top on the dribble. Perry. He'll try a three. Not this time. Battle for the rebound. Out of bounds to Western. Last touch by Nick Ellington. Hilltoppers now will see pressure in the backcourt. Newman ahead to Allen. Bounce pass left. Up the baseline. A drive, and the shot is no good inside for Columbia, and then Murray State comes out with it. Brian Moore Jr. on the break. Good, and a foul.
Big time finish by the young man from New York City, and a good throw ahead by Rob Perry to find him in transition.
Brian Moore Jr. will shoot one as the Racers go back up 52-49.
You see him absorb the contact, stay focused, knock down the shot.
The foul is on Columbia, his fourth. Brian Moore Jr. connects. 11 points now for Moore, and it's 53-49. Allen drives the lane, foul to Murray State, and that'll go on Brian Moore. That's just his first, only the third foul for Murray State in the second half. Racers have only committed 7 fouls for the entire game.
They're playing defense with their feet. They're doing a good job of that, and that's a good giveaway foul by Moore Jr. in transition to stop the break.
Rob Perry will exit stage right as Quincy Anderson comes back into the lineup. Anderson had 6 points in the first half for the Racers.
A little jockeying by Howard and Ellington. Ellington try to make sure they don't get that easy lob over the top on this baseline out of bounds play like they did early in the first half.
Yeah, Murray State has him kind of doubled up with Ellington and Wood. Hilltoppers get it in, and it is Howard on the left side handling. Left side, here's Lander down the lane, and he scores.
Nice finish, a little dipsy-do, dunkaroo for the young man from Evansville, Indiana.
53-51 as Lander gets his 5th point all here in the second half. Wood driving right for Murray State, leaves it inside, whistle here, hold the phone. We got a foul on Western Kentucky.
On a foul on the ground before he went up into his motion.
The foul is charged to Dante Allen, his first, and we have timeout with 11:37 to play. Murray State 53, Western Kentucky 51, as we pause for a moment as you watch the Valley on ESPN.
Knocks down the corner three. That's a huge basket for this Murray State Racer squad.
And the nickel lead is the biggest for the Racers at 56-51 with 11 and change to play. 3 from the right for Western is good.
The answer from Lander.
Boy, was that a huge answer. 8 points now from Lander. 56-54, the lead for Murray State. Brian Moore Jr. angles right. Morgan, another 3 try. Won't go, but we get a foul. And I think the foul is away from the ball. But we'll wait for Gary Maxwell to tell us. Oh, is that on Columbia? If it is, that's his 5th.
Yeah, he's trying to fight through the screen right there to get out to Morgan, who had just made it and just ran over Nick Ellington.
All right, Columbia.
I think officially they got him with 4.
Okay. Well, I had him with 5, but nevertheless, Ellington to the free throw line.
They had him with 4 on the last stats that we got at the media timeout as well, Todd.
Well, I gave a foul to him. I guess I should have given to someone else. Anyway, here's Ellington. Misses the second, and the Hilltoppers rebound. Western down by 3 with the ball. Lander across the line. Working against Quincy Anderson. Driving to the basket. Turned away. Allen inside. Ball lost, and Murray State outrunning.
Bad entry pass right there by Dante Allen. Howard had no chance.
Wood down the lane. Off balance Moore. No. Battle for the board. And a good effort by Ellington, but he couldn't get it, and the ball will come over to Western Kentucky.
Dead ball, rebounds, any dead ball, any free throw situation, the Racers are able to get into their 2-2-1 press, which has slowed Western Kentucky down. Western Kentucky needs to attack. Just like that as Marshall gets free for the dunk and the and one.
Oh boy, did he get free ever. That's Marshall's first points of the night for Western Kentucky. The foul is on Ellington, and I have that as his third.
And you see right here, McHenry attacks the press. They get the ball through the middle of the press, finds a cutting Marshall for the easy dunk to get to the free throw line after the foul.
Marshall just 4 of 5 from the free throw line for 80% on the season. And now make it 5 out of 6. That's his third point, and the game tied again at 57.
Rodney Howard talking to the Murray State Pet Band a little bit after that free throw goes through as the Hilltoppers tie the game.
Wood out top for Murray State. 10 minutes to play. We got us a nail biter here inside the CFSB Center. Down the lane, Brian Moore Jr. with a bucket.
If you're a Murray State Racer fan, you love seeing that offensive action right there.
13 for Moore. Racers back out by 2.
Good post entry by McHenry.
Howard
knocked that down every time. It's barbecue chicken if Howard gets the ball around the basket against this undersized Racer squad.
59 all. That barbecue chicken sounds good about right now. I hate to tell you that. You made me hungry. Here's Sean Walker out top. 9:25 to play. Brian Moore Jr. with 12 to shoot. Moore kicks out to Walker. 7 to shoot. Air ball inside. Western Kentucky comes out with a rebound.
Bothered. You see the length of Western Kentucky. Dante Allen at a legitimate 6'6", able to contest that shot.
Allen from McHenry. Marshall. Lander on the left wing. Out top, Allen. Won't go. We got a whistle and a foul on Murray State. And if that's on Ellington, that's going to be 4.
It is on Ellington as he battles for the rebound on that Dante Allen shot.
4 fouls to Ellington, and now 4 fouls for Murray State. And Abdul-Gawad returns to the lineup now to replace Ellington.
Now, Abdul-Gawad is the only Racer on the roster with the size and physicality to match up with Howard. Ellington, let me rephrase. Ellington has the physicality.
Sure.
He's just undersized. List him as 6'7", it might be 6'6". But Abdul-Gawad is a legitimate 6'10" and has a body and does not mind being a physical player. As you can see right there as the two of them get into a wrestling match early.
Boy, looks like a pure 6 war with them two out there, huh? Lander right side, pulls up, and a whistle here and a foul to Murray State. Foul on Sean Walker Jr. will be his second. That's the 5th foul to the Racers. And we'll have free throw shooting for Lander. His first trip to the line, 75% shooter on the season, 3 of 4. 9 points, 2 boards last time out against Wichita State. Lander, one of 8 newcomers on this Hilltopper team.
And I believe you see referee Gary Maxwell talking to Howard and Abdul-Gawad about that wrestling match that they had.
Yeah.
Both players are telling him, you know, he pushed me, he put my forearm in me, and he's telling him, just settle down.
And speaking of the Hilltoppers, they already have a signee for next year. Kate Unseld, 6'4" guard from Warren Central High School in Bowling Green, the son of William Unseld. Now Howard's going over in front of the bench. And Gary Maxwell in conversation with Steve Lutson. I don't know what this is all about. Oh, they're going to say now it's not, maybe, is it? Yeah, it's going to be a shooting foul after all. Now Abdul-Gawad is in the discussion with Mr. Maxwell as Lander hits the first free throw. He has 9. And it's 60-59 Hilltoppers. And Lander gives Western Kentucky a 2-point lead as he's now into double figures with 10 points.
You see the left-hander has a pure stroke.
Yes, he does. Racers ball down a couple with 8:40 to play. Wood out front handling. Perry midway left side. Now pass into the right corner it goes. And now here's Moore with 10 to shoot. Perry for 3.
Finally gets one from long range to go down. Big time shot by Rob Perry.
62-61 Murray State. Perry with a dozen. Toppers ball with 8:15 to play. Here's a drive down the lane. Count the hoop for McHenry and a foul to Murray State.
Yeah, nice screen by Howard to free him up. And he does the smart thing. He goes right into the body of the Murray State help defender at the rim. Easy points.
We look at it again, the Rob Perry three from out top. And then McHenry comes back at the other end and gets a chance to complete a three-point play of his own here. Now we have a little stoppage of play at the table, and I think the question may be who the foul is on. Couldn't hear for all the music who the foul was on. Brian Moore Jr. it is. And the free throw is good for McHenry. He's got 11 now in this game. Western leads 64-62 with 8 and change to play. Wood out front. Boy, they bring Howard out to match up with him.
Howard hedging hard out of that. They had Abdelgawad.
And here is Abdelgawad. He can't get the shot to fall wide open. Rebound out to Western Kentucky again. Lander up the floor pushing for the Toppers. Howard goes across floor right. Pitch out to McHenry. Fakes the three. Now takes it to the basket and draws the foul on Abdelgawad after getting the hoop.
Big time finish by the JUCO All-American out of Indian Hills.
Abdelgawad gets his first foul. That's now 7 to Murray State. Both teams are in the one in bonus now, but we'll have a one-shot attempt when we return. 7:41 to play. It's Western Kentucky 66, Murray State 62 as you watch the Valley on ESPN.
Reversal.
66-62. The lead for Western Kentucky over Murray State as Don McHenry will go to the free throw line in a moment. Here in the second half, Murray State 10 of 18 from the floor, Western Kentucky 8 of 16. Both teams shooting above 50%. And for the game, Western Kentucky shooting 55% to Murray State's 40. 27-26, Toppers lead the board battle. And they're still outscoring Murray State in the paint, but it's a bit closer now, 38-22. But the most notable stat to me, the bench, 27-12 to Western.
Yeah, they're getting after it, and McHenry right now is on a personal 5-0 run after Rob Perry hit that big three to give the Racers a 62-61 lead, make it a 6-0 run.
And now McHenry has 14 in the game, and the Toppers back out by 5.
And Western Kentucky needs to continue to put pressure on Murray State's defense in transition. You see the hard hedge by Howard there. If you're Coach Prohm, you'd like to see one of your guards really attack his hip and get by it.
Abdelgawad in the lane with 10 to shoot, puts it up. Missed it, tips it out, but it's into the hands of Western Kentucky as Marshall Jr. comes up with it. McHenry, left of the key. Starts in the lane, lost the ball. We got a whistle, tie up or a timeout it will be. I think it'll be a held ball. Possession to Western Kentucky with 7:04 to play.
McHenry's shaking up, hurt his elbow on the play.
And he's grimacing in a little pain, and Rob Perry a little slow to get up for Murray State. Now they'll bring the towel crew out, as you see Coach Steve Lutz.
There's nothing better for an old basketball coach to see than a bunch of guys diving on the floor.
Oh, absolutely.
I love the effort from both teams. This has certainly been a matchup that's been exciting all night long.
And you like, players don't like getting the strawberries, but I tell you, coaches love it when they battle like that.
If you're a player, you don't mind that, Todd.
That's true. Lander down the lane, misses the shot, and Abdelgawad comes out with it for Murray State. Now to Jacoby Wood, 6:50 to play. Wood, no, Abdelgawad had the rebound, lost it, and we get a whistle here and a foul to Western Kentucky's Marshall. That will be his third. That is 8 to the Hilltoppers now, and one of the bonus for Abdelgawad, who hit an old-fashioned three-point play a little earlier in the half.
Yeah, Abdelgawad's been battling with his minutes in there tonight. provided the Racers with a huge lift as Nick Ellington's on the bench with 4 fouls. As the Racers try to stay attached.
6:10 to play as Abdelgawad to shoot, or 6:46 to play rather. Abdelgawad 6'10", the junior from Cairo, Egypt. Hits the first.
And you see a nice stroke by the big fella. Good rotation on that ball. Drops it in there. McHenry back in the game after his 6-0 run.
And Abdelgawad gets them both to fall. 67-64. Western leads it, and they have the ball. Newman back court, now across the line.
Yeah, Newman's been very quiet in this half.
McHenry angles right. Nice move to the hoop and draws the foul, blocking foul on Abdelgawad. That'll be his second. 8 now to Murray State, and McHenry will toe the line once again.
Yeah, and they're picking on Abdelgawad right now. They're bringing Howard up to set ball screens for McHenry, and he's crafty with the ball. He's probing, he's under control at all times, but yet still athletic as you see him protect the ball there, absorb the contact with the backside of his shoulder and get to the rim.
McHenry for the first one, it's good, 68-64. How much longer do you think Steve Prohm leaves Ellington on the bench?
And if they stay within a couple of possessions, probably trying to get to the under 4 media timeout.
Fay returns to the lineup, replacing Howard for the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. McHenry hits the second. 16 points for him, 69-64. Toppers lead a nickel.
And the one thing I know is Coach Prohm knows his team better than anybody else, so he knows Nick Ellington and when he can put him back in the game with 4 fouls.
Perry on the dribble right side. Walker back out to Perry at the top of the key. Baseline left. Anderson for 3. Won't go. Abdelgawad had it for a moment, but Fay comes out with it for Western.
Good job by Marshall to knock that ball out of Abdelgawad's hands, or the Racers might have had an extra possession there.
McHenry drives right, short. Walker rebounds for Murray State. Racers down by 5 with 5:50 to play. Wood, left side. Starts in the lane, tries to go to Abdelgawad, and we got a whistle and a foul to Western Kentucky. McHenry will get whistled for his 3rd foul. Foul starting to mount up. Marshall with 3, Howard 2, McHenry 3. Colombe on the bench with 4, Lander with 3, Fay with 2, and Eaglin with 3 for the Toppers. As free throw shooting for Jacoby Wood, and he misses the first. Wood now 2 for 5 at the free throw line. He has a dozen in the game. Only 2 points, though, here in the second half. Well, Colombe is back into the lineup with 4 fouls for the Toppers. Woods for the second try, and he's got it.
Let's see if Western Kentucky takes their time again, or if they do what they've done the last couple of minutes. And there you see Lander attacking that press.
Hilltoppers in the front court, leading by 4. Newman for 3.
Questionable shot selection by Newman.
And the
race
race
on him early in the shot clock.
Perry for 3. Abdelgawad with the offensive board for the Racers to Wood. Brian Moore Jr., baseline left, good for Sean Walker, a 3.
Fantastic offensive rebound by Abdelgawad as he went up after that one. The Racers get the ball out, reverse it. Brian Moore Jr. on the penetration, finds Walker Jr. in the corner for the big shot.
1 point Western lead at the 5-minute mark. Lander. Now to McHenry.
There's that ball screen action for Lander. He snakes his way into the lane, misses the runner.
And the rebound to Abdelgawad. And Murray State a chance to take the lead with 4:45 to play.
Good split by Jacoby Wood, draws the foul. Going to get to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Actually, we'll see now that Western will get Howard and Dante Allen back into the lineup. Ball was kicked, they say.
Oh, they didn't call the foul. They kicked.
Yeah. Ball belongs to Murray State with 20 on the shot clock. Wood driving right into the traffic. kicks it out. Walker comes off the screen by Delgawad going left. And now whistle, foul to Western Kentucky again.
Yeah, Dante Allen bailed Murray State out right there. A little bit too tight for Sean Walker Jr. to make that entry pass into Rob Perry. Got his defender and Perry's defender right there. Dante Allen bails him out with the reach around for the foul.
And Rob Perry will shoot the double bonus now. His first appearance at the free throw line. He's just a 56% free throw shooter on the year, is the preseason Missouri Valley All-Second Team member. By the way, we hadn't talked much about it, but Nick Ellington was named the Missouri Valley Newcomer of the Week for this week. Perry hits the first.
Yeah,
He's got 13.
After Ellington's big performances, that's obviously a well-deserved honor.
Oh, boy.
And Perry is a much better free throw shooter than his numbers for the season. It's a small sample size. He was an outstanding free throw shooter a year ago.
I like that sample size. You were sounding like some of those political commentators talking about the voting. 70-69. Racers back out by a point at 4.5 minutes to play.
With the Racers back with the lead, this crowd is coming alive.
Western Kentucky brings it up, down by one. McHenry. Lander, right side, goes baseline. Whistle, foul to Murray State. That's a ninth foul to the Racers. Free throw shooting coming now for Western Kentucky. The Racer fans
and you see Lander initiating the contact. In my opinion, clearly an offensive foul as he lowered his shoulder, and that's supposed to be a point of emphasis, an automatic call by the referee. Lander clearly lowered his shoulder, initiated the contact with a little push-off.
Well, Brian Moore Jr. talking to Gary Maxwell out front as Lander shoots and hits the first. He's got 11.
But both teams right now putting their head down, attacking the basket. Both teams in the double bonus getting to the free throw line.
70 all as Lander 3 for 3 at the line, has 11 and make it 12. And the Toppers have the 1-point lead. Western 71, Murray State 70. Wood across the line to Abdelgawad out front. Nice backdoor cut for Wood, but too many red shirts in there, and the Toppers have it running. McHenry goes left. Now leaves it off. Kick out, Allen, 3, right corner, good. Give assist to Colombe.
Find by Colombe, Todd. Big find by Colombe. Finds the knockdown shooter in Dante Allen deep in the corner.
16 for Allen, and timeout taken here by Murray State with 3:47 to play. With the score, Western Kentucky 74 and Murray State 70. Let's pause as you watch the Valley on ESPN. 74-70, Western Kentucky leads with 3:47 to play. Still anybody's ball game right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be an exciting final 3 minutes and 47 seconds here in the CFSB Center in Murray, Kentucky. Dante Allen has just become the leading scorer in the game with 16 points to tie McHenry, a 4 of 5 from the three-point line. We said earlier in the game that he struggled shooting it. He was 1 of 10 coming into the game tonight from the three-point line. But obviously, everybody knows that's ever watched him. A very, very capable three-point shooter and a streaky guy that can put up numbers in a hurry.
Murray State will have the ball out of the timeout. Wood will put it in play. Gets it into Brian Moore Jr. now. Brian drives left. Wood and Moore play pitch and catch out top. Brian looking for something to break in the lane. Now Walker goes up the baseline. Nice feed to Perry for the bucket.
Good patience by Murray State. Good execution. Didn't force the action. Just reversed the basketball. Waited for that lane to open up. Nice find by Walker Jr. Finally cutting Rob Perry to the basket.
Perry was 16-11 here in the second half. 74-72. Western leads it by a pair. Howard out top. Right side to Lander. Lander angles with the ball. Pitches out on the baseline right to Colombe.
Colombe going to try to back down the smaller Rob Perry. Perry gets a piece of the ball.
He sure did. Rebound loose on the floor. And let's see, what do we got? Out of bounds to Western Kentucky. And let's see, we have timeout coming on the floor And we will take it with 2:54 to play. Western 74, Murray State 72. We'll return in a moment as you watch the Valley on ESPN. Tighter than a new pair of shoes on a rainy day, this game is 74-72. Western Kentucky leads Murray State.
Yeah, 2:54 to go. Western Kentucky's going to have the ball on the baseline over towards the corner with 1 second on the shot clock here, Todd. So what Coach Lutz is probably drawing up is a lob play to the rim to get a shot. Probably so they have a little screen-the-screener action that can free somebody up for a lob at the rim. And if not, Murray State's going to try to switch things aggressively and make them catch the ball going away from the basket. So if not, if Murray State makes a mistake, pays too much attention to the lob, the screener's going to be open on the re-screen.
And here's that last play as we'll look at it again.
And he never had possession of the basketball, so the correct call by the referees to not reset the shot clock. As you saw Brian Moore Jr. going to the floor, never got full possession of the basketball.
Well, the question is, do you have one and a few tenths, or do you have a solid one? No time to really pitch it and catch it. You got to just kind of throw it at the rim.
Well, I was once told by a referee that if 1 second is showing, that means you have less than 1 second.
I've heard that too.
True or not? He assured me of that when the horn sounded as soon as our kid touched the ball on an out-of-bounds play with 1 second showing on the shot clock. And I argued that that was not a full second. You see this setup right here. Look for Howard going to the rim. There's Howard diving right now.
And wait a minute, hold it. Do we have a foul before?
No, he stepped out of bounds.
Well,
Murray State played that very well. Howard tried to dive to the rim. They got underneath him, got low, held him up, jumped out on the ball, forced a catch on that sideline over there by Western Kentucky.
74-72. Hilltoppers lead by a pair with 2:40 to play. Wood down the left side, slips and falls, but he gets the timeout. And Murray State will take the 32nd with 2:40 to play in the game. And friends, let's tell you about our friends at Village Medical. The healthcare system can feel like a factory. Patients don't get enough attention, and doctors can't give the kind of care they want to give. That's why Village Medical is here to change primary care. Your doctor coordinates with an entire care team to give you the attention you need whenever you need it. They'll even work with your pharmacist to help manage your prescriptions, and it's all covered by most insurance. Book your first appointment at villagemedical.com/start. Now, Village Medical, the new way to well.
Yeah, right now, Murray State down to 1 timeout for the final 2:40 in the 2-point basketball game. Kobe Wood felt like he got bumped a little bit, fell to the ground. Alertly, they called the timeout to get the ball on the baseline as he has penetrated inside the 3-point line below the free throw line area. So they're going to have a baseline out of bounds play here with 19 seconds on the shot clock.
Toppers will, or I should say Racers will play it in under their basket. Toppers will have them pretty well covered as Wood takes the inbound.
Good pin down by Nick Ellington, and he's got good post position. Rob Perry just can't get him the basketball.
Perry will take it to the basket
himself
and
finish.
score.
Nice scoop by Rob Perry. Able to get his shoulder past the defender's hip, scoop the ball off the glass to tie the game at 74.
74 all with 2:20 to play. Hilltoppers with the ball. Lander lobs into Howard, who got behind Ellington and scored.
Yeah, and in that situation, Ellington didn't want to take the foul since he has 4 fouls. Nice entry, effective play by Western Kentucky to get the ball into Howard's hands.
Howard now with 10 points. 2 minutes to go as Murray State moves the ball. Perry from 19. Won't get it. Howard tips it, but it's into the hands of Murray State. Perry takes the pass from Brian Moore Jr. Goes baseline left. Western rebounds as Allen clears it. Minute 45 to play. McHenry for the Toppers brings it up the floor. Here's a drive to the basket and a foul on Murray State. That's going to be on Rob Perry. That'll be his first foul.
Yeah, we're going to see that again. See, he's got good position, and then he slaps down at the last second.
Yep.
If he had stayed vertical, that's not a foul, and Colin Bay is probably not going to finish that shot.
Callum Bay, a 62.5% free throw shooter, will try 2 here. as both teams are in the double bonus. Free throw good for Callum. He's got 5. All right, Toppers make a lineup change here. Marshall's back into the game now. 1:39 to go.
This is a defensive substitution as they have their most athletic defensive unit on the floor right now.
Both free throws made, and it's 78-74, the lead for Western Kentucky. Now we get a whistle and a foul.
They're calling a hold on Columbay as he wrapped up Rob Perry to try to prevent him from making the cut, and that was close because if they didn't have that call, then that's a foul on Nick Ellington on an illegal screen.
1:31 to go, and Callum fouls out. And Murray State's Perry will go to the free throw line. He has 18 points, 2 for 2 at the line, 13 of his 18 here in the second half.
Yeah, Coach Lutz is going to wisely use this as a free timeout, and that's what Steve Frome is doing as well with only 1 left in his pocket. Western has 3. He's going over, Coach Lutz going over everything he wants out of his team defensively. Offensively, look for them to come down and run that ball screen action or isolation sets to get Howard the ball.
91 seconds left in regulation as Western Kentucky leads it here by 4. Rob Perry, the transfer a year ago from Stetson. Misses the first. Well, the best he can do is bring Murray State to within 3. He makes that one. 17 points for Rob Perry, and it's 78-75.
Murray State in their 2-2-1 press. See how Western Kentucky attacks it. Are they going to get the ball in the middle and go? Nope, they're going to walk it up and run their offense.
McHenry with 1:20 to play. Lander, Allen out top. Around the right side.
Here's that sprint ball screen action I talked about from McHenry going to the rim. Big finish by the left-handed All-American from the junior college ranks a year ago.
80-75, Western leads with 1 minute to go. 18 points now for McHenry. Jacoby Wood looks right to Perry. Rob goes into Ellington. Matches up against Howard. Fakes, spins it. Got it. Nick Ellington with his 7th point.
Yeah, nice post move. You got Howard to commit to the little shoulder fake, spun baseline, dropped it off the glass.
Murray State needs a defensive turn right here, and a foul on Sean Walker Jr., his 3rd. McHenry to the free throw line, and he's not the guy you want to put there. He's 4 for 4 in this game and has 18 points.
And his stroke looks pure. And he's done a good job controlling this game late in the second half. Been very impressed with how McHenry has played, especially the final 10 minutes of the basketball game.
I had several friends from Bowling Green tell me that they've been very impressed, even though the Toppers have not shot the ball well until tonight after their poor performance at Wichita. They said they think they're going to be a pretty good team, and I think they've proven it here in this game. McHenry hits a pair. He's now got 20 points on the night, 82-77. 40 seconds to go. Ryan Moore Jr. lobs it in for the dunk.
Nice find. They run the ball screen action, draw Howard out on the hedge. Nick Ellington wide open running to the rim for the dunk.
And Steve Prohm will use his last timeout here with 36.6 seconds to play. Murray State now out of timeouts.
And you see Dante Allen should have been in help right there for Western Kentucky. As the ball goes away from the basket, Allen moves out to his man on the weak side corner instead of sucking into the paint, gives Ellington a free rim run to the basket.
You know, we talked earlier about Western already has a signee for next year in Cade Unseld. Murray State has signed 2 players. 6'1" guard DJ Shine out of Augusta, Georgia, who's playing at Brewster Academy, and Jordan McCullum, a 6'8" post player out of Harriman, Tennessee.
Yeah, and I know they're excited about both of those guys. Both guys top 150 recruits in the nation. First time in Murray State history, I believe, that they've signed 2 top 150 players.
So if you're Steve Prohm, what are you telling this ball club right now?
Well, you're going through all the scenarios. There's 36.6 seconds left, so you can play it out. All right, so they want to play defense. They're going over who to foul, who not to foul when they get in that situation because they're out of timeouts now.
Right.
So they're going through every possible situation. They've practiced all these situations. He puts them in practice every day. Every coach does. Coach Lutz does the same thing. They're going over what they practiced before the game. This is what we want to do. They've got certain actions, down 3 late in the game we want to run. And he's reviewing all of those things with his players, so there's no confusion in the moment when they have to execute.
Well, the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky will have the ball with 36.6 seconds to play, leading 82-79. Toppers have led by as many as 10. Murray State has led by as many as 5. That for the Racers here in the second half. The Toppers had the 10-point lead in the first half.
Yeah, and the Racers are going to get up on the ball, look for a trap. If they could get a tie-up, that would be great for them, as they also went over possession arrow in that timeout.
All right.
Western Kentucky handles it with ease. Lander brings it down. Now they're going to run their all up. They're going to go ahead and take the foul early.
Wood will commit it. That'll be his third, and McHenry will shoot free throws again. He is 6 for 6 at the line and has 20 points, 12 of them here in the second half.
What you're doing here is you're extending the game. You're going to play the possession game. You want more possessions in the game right now.
Don McHenry from Indian Hills Community College, a junior out of Milwaukee, stepping to the foul line for the Toppers.
And that's a tough guy to put on the line if you're a Murray State fan. You've watched him parade there the entire second half and drain free throw after free throw.
McHenry was the NABC NJCAA Division I All-American team last year, averaged 15 points a game, and had 63 three-pointers, but he has been shooting free throws lights out in this game. 21 points for him now. .22 for McHenry.
McHenry's gonna make him pick the ball up. Murray State's got to push it fast, get into their action right away.
Wood out top. Walker thought about the three, goes to the basket, puts it up over Howard, misses. Ellington misses. Perry, though, is there to respond.
Offensive glass by the Racers. Now they got to get up, try to force a turnover or a tie-up quickly, and then foul.
And Sean Walker will send Dante Allen to the free throw line as he commits his fourth foul. Allen has not been to the free throw line tonight, but he has 4 three-pointers and 16 points, 3 for 4 at the stripe on the year.
From almost all the way out to midcourt, talking to his team right now. The referee's going to go over and get him out. Veteran move to pull his team over and go over what he needs right out of this situation.
Coach Brome coming into tonight 3-1 against Western Kentucky in his Murray State career. All 4 of those meetings were the first time he was here. Allen gets the first. 17 for him on the night, and it's a 4-point Hilltopper lead.
Yeah, that's a big free throw. It makes it a 2-possession game.
And Allen now with 18, 86-81. Brian Moore Jr. with 12 seconds. Wood in the lane. Ball was kicked or no, lost out of bounds. It'll be to Western Kentucky.
Too much dribbling in that situation. Needed to get something going quickly. You either needed something going quickly to the rim right there, or you needed a quick three-point hitter.
And now Steve Lutz will use his second and final 30-second timeout of this game.
Coach Lutz knows that Murray State has to get up, has to deny everything, needs to get an immediate steal or an immediate tie-up. So what he's doing right now is he's drawing up what they've gone over in this situation repeatedly in practice in this young season, and trying to free up his team for an easy inbounds pass that'll effectively end the game if they can come down and make a free throw.
Well, I'll tell you what, you really have to applaud the way this Hilltopper team bounced back after losing by 10 at Wichita State and shooting as dismally as they did in that contest.
Yeah, and I said before the game, if I'm coaching Murray State, I'm terrified of this because they went 0 for 21 in their last game. They're going to make shots.
And they've made them tonight, that's for sure. 7.6 to play. Ball rolling around in the back court.
Big turnover. I don't think that ball was touched. I don't think the ball was touched. They're going to have to review that to see if the ball was touched before it went out of bounds. They had Coach Lutz, what he drew up, they had Lander wide open, and they missed him.
Now the officials will have a discussion for a moment. Now they're going to go look at the replay.
This is good if you're Murray State. You get a free timeout.
Oh, boy.
It's basically going to be a full timeout because they're going to go to the replay.
Let's see if we can see it.
Set this.
Yeah, the ball was already out of bounds. Look.
Well, that's a tough angle. It looks like it hit the line, so there should be 7-6, but that's a tough angle. If they don't have a better angle on the replay, it's awful hard for them to go back and change. I believe, they haven't told us, but I believe the call on the floor was that the ball was touched and then went out of bounds, which means some time has to run out. Nope. Now they've instructed them to put the .6 back up, which from this angle looks like the right call. So the right call on the floor must have been that the ball went out of bounds without being touched. Murray State will have 7.6 seconds. Need something quick on the inbounds play, and then jump in your press and try to get a steal.
Well, the Racers will have the ball. Murray State trailing 86-81 with 7.6 seconds to play. Wood will toss it in.
Elevator screen action for Rob Perry to get a three.
That was an air ball short. Toppers will hold it, and they'll come away with the victory here in Murray, 86-81. Western Kentucky gets the win, and for the Hilltoppers, it's their first win in this series in quite a while. And overall, in Murray, their 30th win in 65 meetings with the Racers. Well, this was a very entertaining game. We thought it would be. And give Western Kentucky the credit. They played awfully well defensively.
They're an outstanding defensive team. And I talked with Tim McAllister, a former Murray State assistant who's on the Western Kentucky staff now. And Tim was telling me, they believe that their team can shoot the basketball. They thought that would be one of their strengths coming into this season. And tonight they certainly shown that. Murray State, good effort. They've now faced someone with that's similar to something they'll see in the Valley, only more athletic. So that, they've moved up in progression with each opponent. And then tonight ran into a buzzsaw against Western Kentucky's defense, really struggled shooting the basketball against the length and athletic ability, and now they go on the road to a big tournament.
And that's the Fort Myers tip-off, where they'll play North Carolina Wilmington on Monday and Appalachian State on Wednesday, before coming home on the 29th to play Bradley in the Missouri Valley opener. Western Kentucky heads to Canada for the Northern Classic. They'll play Bowling Green State a week from Friday, Canisius a week from Saturday, and UNC Asheville on the 26th. The Hilltoppers now 2-1, Murray State now 2-1 as well. As always, enjoyed it, partner. Have a great Thanksgiving holiday, and I'll see you after Thanksgiving.
All right, Todd, thank you.
All right, Coach Rob Cross with us here. 86-81, the final score, as Western Kentucky gets the win over Murray State. Remember, friends, all games are archived and streaming on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Again, the final score, 86-81, the win for Western Kentucky over Murray State. For Rob Cross and our director, Scott Kopaz, and our entire crew, Todd Hamilton, have a great Thanksgiving holiday, everybody. And until next time, so long from the CFSP Center.